The power of changing in silence. Control your tongue, and you will change your life quietly. Speaking less, exposing yourself less, and reacting less are the fundamental pillars of those who understand that whoever masters their own mouth ultimately masters their own destiny. Silence should be seen as the impenetrable shield of the wise, while loose, careless, and excessive words act like poison for the impulsive, destroying opportunities before they even have a chance to grow. Throughout this reflection, we will dive deep into 7 essential Stoic rules to transform your existence through the power of silence, eliminating the constant need to justify yourself, to show off to an indifferent audience, or to explain yourself to those who have no desire to understand. This is a vital code of conduct because most people live in a state of non-stop chatter, explaining every step, displaying every achievement, and exhausting themselves trying to convince others of their worth, forgetting that those who truly live their truth have neither the time nor the interest to prove anything to anyone. Stoicism teaches us a brutal yet necessary lesson. What you say has the power to free you or to imprison you in cells you built yourself. An uncontrolled tongue has the destructive capacity to ruin promising careers, dismantle solid marriages, poison long-standing friendships, and sabotage dreams. On the other hand, well-placed and strategic silence has been the foundation upon which empires were built. Why speaking less makes you stronger, and how it can be the key to radically changing your life. Today, you will understand why choosing silence can be the most powerful act of your journey, and how your reality transforms when you adopt a reserved and quiet posture. We begin by exploring the first fundamental rule: speak less and listen twice as much. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, warned us through human anatomy itself, reminding us that we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth for a very specific reason. Nature designed us to listen far more than we speak. How many times have you found yourself in deep regret for saying too much, for sharing a secret that should never have left your lips, for expressing an opinion no one asked for, or for wasting vital energy trying to prove a point that, in the end, changed absolutely nothing? Perhaps you placed too much faith in the power of words, believing you needed to explain yourself, assert yourself, or defend yourself at all costs. But the undeniable truth is that the more we speak, the more we reveal and expose ourselves. A tongue without restraint uncovers our weaknesses and insecurities before our strength has time to mature and solidify. Stoicism confronts us with an uncomfortable yet liberating truth. Those who speak less understand more. Those who listen with full attention dominate the environment, and those who observe in silence are able to perceive the nuances of reality with far greater depth. Most people use speech as a way to fill emptiness, to relieve the unbearable anxiety of not knowing how to deal with silence. But in classical philosophy, silence is not a void or an absence. It is fertile ground where discernment and wisdom are cultivated. It is in silence that the mind can hear what the ego tries to drown out with constant noise. The proportion suggested by Epictetus is not random. It is a life lesson. Although nature built us for listening, human pride reverses this logic, making most people desperate to be heard at any cost, while very few are willing to listen. The result is a society where almost no one learns anything new. Silence is the temple where wisdom is forged, and the great problem with those who speak excessively is that they are incapable of listening, neither to others nor to themselves. When you dedicate yourself to truly listening to another person, you learn about them, about how the world works, and over time, you learn deeply about yourself. But when you talk too much, you engage in self-sabotage, giving away your strategy, revealing your weaknesses, feeding someone else's ego, and silencing your own capacity for reflection. There is immeasurable strength in those who know how to remain silent, not out of submission or fear, but from a conscious and strategic choice. The silence of the wise is not cowardice, it is self-mastery, it is surgical precision. They choose the exact moment, the right word, and the proper measure. And that is why, when they finally speak, everyone stops to listen. Speaking less goes beyond self-control. It is an exercise in self-knowledge. It is understanding that not everything needs to be verbalized, not every truth must be exposed, and not every thought deserves to become sound. Some ideas need silence in order to grow stronger. Some decisions only mature through retreat and reflection, and some battles are won simply by choosing to stay quiet. The simplicity of this is unsettling. Silence as a tool for self-control. You do not need to respond to everything. You do not need to correct every mistake you hear. You do not need to expose every thought that crosses your mind. Sometimes, true power lies in observing silently and waiting for the right moment to act. If you want to begin this transformation now, try an experiment in your next interaction. Listen more. Observe tone of voice, body language, what is being said between the lines. Remain silent a few seconds longer than usual. Do not interrupt. Do not anticipate responses. Just listen, and you will notice a world that previously went unseen. Mastering your own speech is one of the clearest signs of personal evolution. It is not about having beautiful rhetoric, but about speaking with purpose. And for that, learning to listen is imperative, because silence never exposes you to ridicule or danger. Loose words, however, are often shots fired with no way back. The second rule invites us to live more and show less. People do not need to know every step you take. They do not need access to your most intimate thoughts, your feelings, your relationships, or the projects you are building. The world does not need to know, because excessive visibility weakens you and constant exposure drains your energy. There is an invisible yet powerful strength in those who learn to keep their lives to themselves, an understated elegance in those who live reality intensely without making noise about it. We live in a digital age where being seen is the norm, where social media turns every gesture into a performance, every achievement into an advertisement, and every pain into a stage for attention. Yet, there is an abyss of difference between truly living life and posting that you are living it. Seneca once said that happiness loves silence, and he was absolutely right. Those who constantly need to prove they are happy may still be desperately searching for that happiness. Those who announce to the world that they are winning may simply be trying to convince themselves they are not lost. Stoicism invites us to cultivate a rich and profound inner life, an existence where external approval does not control our actions, where silence is not emptiness, but a sacred space for maturation. Everything that is truly valuable grows in the dark. The seed breaks the soil in silence. The fruit ripens at the right time, without noise. Water shapes stone with ancient patience. In the same way, the strongest and most meaningful achievements in life happen behind the scenes, far from curious eyes, far from judgment, and far from the addictive need for applause. There is a real challenge here, because showing off is addictive. It provides a fleeting sense of importance. Likes offer a false sense of value, and external approval soothes insecurity for a moment. But the more we show and depend on it, the less free we become. True freedom lies in not needing to be seen all the time, in doing something great and keeping that satisfaction to yourself, in loving quietly, working in silence, and growing when no one is watching. There is immense peace in doing without announcing, in living without exposing, in achieving without needing to prove anything to anyone. Because when you learn to be enough for yourself, the world loses its power over you. Living more and showing less is also a form of protection. It protects your dreams while they are still fragile. It protects your peace, an easy target in the midst of chaos. It protects your relationships, which were never meant to be public spectacles. And it protects your mental health, because the anxiety of staying visible slowly sickens the soul. The Stoic does not live to impress, he lives to evolve, and evolution is a process that does not require an audience. Reflect on how many times you shared a plan and it fell apart, or talked about a project and it died before it was even born. This is not superstition. It is physics. It is wasted energy. It is the ego and the need for validation sabotaging the discipline of the mind. When you talk too much about what you are going to do, you spend the energy that should be used to actually do it. The world does not need to be notified of your change. It will notice. It does not need to know about your growth. Your results will speak. It does not need to know about your peace. Your silence will speak for you. The beauty of silence lies in protecting what is real and dissolving what is vanity. In a noisy world, living a discreet life is a revolutionary act. Live more, show little or almost nothing, not out of fear but out of wisdom and self-respect. Remember that the most valuable experiences do not need to be shared, only felt and protected. If you understand this, adopt as a shield the principle that your peace does not need an audience. The third rule is to avoid speaking about others. Talking about other people's lives is easy, perhaps the easiest and most tempting thing to do. We notice a mistake, a flaw, a disagreeable attitude, and an uncontrollable urge to comment arises. But what are we really seeking when we speak about others? Justice, relief, or simply a distraction from ourselves? Stoicism does not teach us only to control words, but to carefully guard what we put into the world, because everything that leaves your mouth inevitably returns, often in the form of resentment, judgment, or bitter regret. It is true that there are people who hurt others, who make serious mistakes, who disappoint, and who seem to deserve criticism and exposure. But the crucial question is this: when we talk about them, do we rise above, or do we lower ourselves to the same level of unconsciousness? Marcus Aurelius wrote that when we become irritated by another person's mistakes, we should remember how many times we ourselves have failed. That sentence carries an entire universe of humility and self-awareness. Speaking badly of others may seem harmless. A comment here, a remark there, a criticism disguised as honesty, but it reveals much about our inner state. Often, it shows that we are trying to relieve insecurities, frustrations, or loneliness, because criticizing others is frequently a smoke screen to avoid looking at ourselves. There is something even more subtle and dangerous. The habit of talking about others never stays limited to one person. It shapes the way you see the entire world. It trains your mind to search for flaws, to focus on what is wrong. Slowly, you begin to see life through suspicion, believing everyone is wrong and no one is trustworthy except you. The truth is that those who constantly point outward are usually avoiding pointing inward, and the Stoic never runs from himself. Epictetus advised looking inward instead of criticizing others, because that brings peace. When you stop judging the world, you begin working on the only place where real change is possible, within yourself. There is also moral strength in protecting the dignity of others, even those who do not deserve it. This does not mean excusing wrongdoing, but understanding that what you say reveals far more about your character than about the person being discussed. It means choosing elevation over revenge, nobility over anger. Honestly, there is no quieter or more absolute victory than looking at someone who hurt you and feeling no need to say anything. Because in silence, you do not lower yourself, you rise and grow. Speaking less about others is a form of mental and spiritual hygiene. Gossip, even when based on facts, stains the one who spreads it, pulls focus away from what truly matters, drains productive energy, and drags you into the mud of comparisons and empty conversations. Notice how you feel after speaking badly about someone. There may be a momentary relief, but soon discomfort follows, a subtle sense of inner dirt, your conscience warning you that it was unnecessary. Wisdom is not found in winning arguments about other people's behavior, but in not needing to enter them at all. Strength is not in exposing others, but in preserving yourself. True peace is born from silence, not from judgment. If someone hurt you, turn it into inner learning, not conversation material. If someone made a mistake, distance yourself, but do not stain your mouth with hatred. Anyone who needs to speak badly of others to feel good is lost. Choose lightness, the kind that demands silence about others and about the compulsive need to have an opinion on everything. The fourth rule instructs us to let our actions speak. Notice how those who truly live a truth rarely talk about it. Real love, genuine success, unshakable faith and true strength are quiet. They do not need microphones or an audience. They only need to be lived. There is a deep liberation in not having to verbalize what you are doing, what you believe in, or where you are going. When maturity is reached, the need to convince disappears. You simply are, and you simply act. Stoicism has always valued practice over speech. Epictetus taught that one should not claim to be a philosopher, but live like one. In a time when everyone talks about purpose, change, and self-improvement, few actually live what they preach in the silent details of daily life. It is easy to say, "I've changed." It is hard to wake up every day and act differently without an audience. It is easy to talk about humility. Difficult is practicing it without praise. It is easy to preach peace. Difficult is staying calm under provocation. That is why actions speak louder, truer, and stronger, reaching depths that words never touch. A coherent life requires no explanations. People feel the energy of someone who truly lives, which is far more powerful than the noise of someone who talks too much. Let your actions reveal your essence. Let your silence show your greatness. Let the consistency of your effort speak for you day after day. What matters is not what is said, but what you do when no one is watching. It is in that solitary space that your truth is born. Seneca said that words persuade, but example pulls people forward. You can say anything, but it is behavior that transforms. The wise act without announcing. The noble serve without expecting applause. The strong endure in silence. When you focus on action, the world notices, even if it takes time, and a life built on action cannot be refuted. By focusing on what you do, you discover the peace of knowing that no one can deny a well-lived life or disprove a coherent mind. Choose the silence of action and do what must be done. Those who truly live do not need to prove anything. They simply live. The fifth rule is to escape the need to be right. This need is a subtle prison, disguised as logic and justice, but rooted in the deep fear of appearing weak or wrong. Many people enter unnecessary battles over a point of view, a traffic argument, or a misunderstood message, wasting vital energy just to prove they were right. Stoicism invites us to understand that not every battle must be won, not every debate extended, and not every truth proven. Marcus Aurelius advised that if someone convinces us with reason, we should change, but if it is merely a clash of egos, we should withdraw. That is true strength. The ego hates this. It wants to win at any cost, because for it, being right matters more than being at peace. Relationships and businesses are destroyed every day by the inability to yield even an inch. Reason has its place, but wisdom lies in knowing when it matters. Seneca warned that many win the argument, but lose the friendship. What is the value of being right while living alone in constant conflict? Letting go of the need to be right is greatness. It is realizing that maturity often lives in silence, in renunciation, in stepping back, not out of cowardice, but because external victory is no longer necessary to feel whole. Evolved people do not compete in arguments. They listen. They understand that life is wider than a single viewpoint, and that sometimes the other must be understood, not defeated. In discussions that are nothing but noise, the wise withdraw, gaining the right to preserve their peace. Conquering yourself means learning to yield, to say, "You might be right," or "I understand your point," even while disagreeing. This requires rare strength, but it brings lightness and inner silence. You do not need to correct every injustice or win every discussion. Sometimes victory is letting the other have the last word and walking away in peace. If the need to be right has already cost you dearly, release that burden and choose peace, because peace is what sustains you. When you no longer need to be right, people begin to truly listen, because the silence of the wise speaks louder than 1,000 words from those who need to prove something. Not every argument is worth your peace. The sixth rule guides us to use words as if they were gold. Most people speak as if words were disposable, but they remain, they touch, they wound, and they leave marks, opening or closing doors. Seneca compared words to gold. They should be weighed before being spent. And almost no one does this. People speak on impulse, expressing anger and vanity, realizing the damage far too late. Speaking is a creative act. Every time we open our mouths, we create something in the world, an idea or an impression, and that should be done with reverence. Speaking has become a noisy addiction, and because of that, people hear and feel less. Stoicism reminds us that wisdom is not about speaking all the time, but about knowing when and how to speak. The right word at the right time can save. The same word at the wrong time can destroy. A wise person speaks because they have something real to offer, with measure and intention, knowing that silence sometimes teaches more. Words that carry the weight of gold do not come from haste or anger, but from the inner space created by listening, observing, and feeling. There is a rare beauty in those who know when to remain silent and when to speak with precision. Such a person is remembered not for speeches, but for their presence and impact.